it's Kate, and today I'm going to be doing a review of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I read I finished it like 2 days ago. I don't know why I'm having trouble remembering that. This is 100% spoiler free as well, so if you haven't read this book, you can stick around. I got you covered. So honestly, I love this book. I loved it a lot, and I wasn't sure if I was going to, but I had a feeling I was, just because of the atmosphere that this book is supposed to create, and it did create. This book, Night Circus, follows two young people, Marco and Celia, and they are both raised by different people. Obviously, they're not siblings, duh. And so Marco and Celia are raised up into this game, this magician's game. So Celia's dad is a very famous magician named Hector Bowen, but he's known as Prospero the Enchanter. And so she has grown up, she's brought to him early in the book, and he raises her up under the pretense of this game. So all she knows is that she's a player in some game, and she has no idea what the game is, and he doesn't tell her what it is, he doesn't tell her the rules, he doesn't tell her who she's against, he doesn't tell her a single thing. And the same thing goes for Marco. Marco's pulled out of an orphanage by this other guy who, his name is never actually confirmed, because he's got a lot of different names, but this mysterious guy who deals with a different type of magic than Celia's dad, but he's still a magician in a sense, just a different kind of magician. And so Marco and Celia are taught two different types of magic, but they're very similar. And eventually they end up crossing paths whenever the Night Circus is beginning to form. But the thing is that neither of them know what they're even doing. They don't know the game that they're in. They don't know what their fathers, in Marco's case, are even, because Marco's the guy who raised him is not his father, but he kind of sees him as the closest thing to his father. They have no clue what they have in store for them. They're just going along with it, basically. So for me, I gave this book 5 stars. If I were to be really critical, maybe 4.75, but I don't know where that would even come from. It wasn't a book that I would go, oh my god, this is my favorite book ever, I need everybody to read it. But I loved it. It was really, really good. So I think I'm sticking with my 5 stars. I'm gonna talk about my favorite things about this book. One being the setting. The setting is so vivid in this book. All the descriptions that the author writes in the book are very effective in creating an atmosphere that you feel when you're reading it. And it honestly makes you feel like you're there. From the smells that they describe, I don't know how you can manage to describe a smell so well, but this book does it. The smell that it describes, and then the colors of the circus, and the tents, oh my gosh. When it describes certain tents of the circus, it is so, so cool, because I feel so, entranced. It's a very, otherworldly experience, I think, at least. The second thing that I love about this book is the characters, because I feel like each of the characters is very unique and has a very lovable personality. Well, lovable in most cases, but there's something that I adore about each of the characters, and I feel very connected to each character in the story, which is really, really cool. I really, really liked Tsukiko's character. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I say it, Tsukiko, the contortionist, because she is just very mysterious throughout the entire book, but she just surprises you in so many different ways, and I love that about her. Celia is great, of course, and I love Marco, because I really, really love Poppet as well. She's really sweet. So those are my favorites of the characters. Another thing that I love about this book is that it's very slow paced, which for some people, you might want to steer clear of that if you don't like that, but I enjoy a slow book, even though it takes me a while to read, because I feel like the development is so much more clear, and helps with my understanding, and if not my understanding, because I understand books that don't have clear development and slow paces, but it just makes it feel more real to me, if that makes sense. And that's another thing that impacted the next thing, which is the fact that the love was really realistic in this book. The story was very, very slow paced, and I found it very easy to believe what was going on. Their love was not, in my opinion, it wasn't very angsty whatsoever. It was very drawn out, and which, I don't know if I'm using the word angsty right, but it's kind of, how do I describe this? it's not one of those like insta love things. It's not immediate whatsoever, I think. Honestly, it's really hard to describe. It's just good. Like, she did it in the right way to where it didn't feel forced and it didn't feel rushed. It felt right. So there's another storyline intertwined with Marco and Celia's. There's not like straight point of views. It just kind of like flips between different people in the circus in different scenes. But there's another like storyline with this boy named Bailey, and he's just a boy on a farm who goes to the circus and loves it. And in the beginning, I honestly did not see the importance of his storyline. I just didn't, honestly, I didn't enjoy reading it as much as the other parts, which is obviously because he's not in the circus, you know, he's got like separate issues and it just takes away from the other people's problems. But as the story goes on, or went on, I began to appreciate his character more. And then in the end, I really, really understood why he was there. So he does have a purpose, even though it doesn't seem like it. Those are like all of my clear thoughts on this book, but overall I really, really enjoyed this book. Let me grab it. It's so pretty. Like, this makes me so happy. I don't know, it's really cool. So tell me what you thought about this book, if you liked it or you didn't, because I can see how some people wouldn't like it. In fact, we read this in my book club at school. One girl just hated this book. She couldn't get through it. She didn't finish it. And that's because she didn't like slow books. And she's a very romantic reader, I guess you could call it. So she was disappointed with the pace of the romance. And for me, I enjoyed that. So different people, different tastes. So I definitely recommend this, but be warned, if you don't like slow books, then you might not want to read this, but I recommend it to most people. So that's all for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye!